Okay, so we're going to be diving into some teachings from a spiritual master. And looking at this question, can we actually measure spiritual progress? Is it like checking off boxes, or is it something deeper?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. And I think with the St. Matt tradition, the interesting thing is the focus on inner transformation
Yeah.
instead of like outward milestone.
Right from the beginning, the master talks about how we can't measure progress like it's a race, which honestly, I kind of like to hear that. But then that makes me think, well, if it's not like points on a scoreboard, what's making it grow?
Well, they talk about this balance between effort and grace, where
Yeah.
putting in the work is important, but ultimately it's seen as a gift, like spiritual awakening. It's not something you earn.
So it's more about creating the right conditions.
Exactly. And he uses this analogy of a seed. He says the Lord has sown a seed in each of us, and it will sprout when it's the right time.
Have you ever worked towards something so hard? It's like you hit a wall, but then other times it just kind of flows, like something's guiding you.
Right. A watched pot never boils, as they say.
Exactly.
And this all connects to the idea of karma and past lives.
I have to admit,
Yeah.
it's hard to wrap my head around the idea that our soul has this whole history, but it's definitely interesting.
They view karma as this collection of past actions, things we've done in the past, and these tendencies influence our life now.
Like we have this hidden script we're following, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a scary thought. So are we trapped by that then?
Not necessarily. That's where spiritual practice comes in. It's not about getting rid of the past, but seeing how it affects us now.
Okay, so how do we become aware of it then?
Well, meditation is a big one in the Samat tradition. And it's not just about relaxing, but going inward, observing your thoughts, and not judging them.
Shining a light on our subconscious.
Exactly. The master describes it as like seeing faces from your past, people you were connected to, and these relationships still affect us.
Whoa. That makes sense though. Like when you think about those things you do over and over, habits you can't break. Could there be something deeper there?
Yeah, something unresolved. That's really where the growth happens, not just intellectually knowing, but experiencing it.
Right, so it's not a straight line then. We can't check off past lives and then we're done.
Exactly. It's not linear. They really emphasize that. We have moments of clarity,
Hmm.
and then we feel like we're back at the beginning again.
Yeah, I've definitely felt that. It's comforting in a way though. It's not about being perfectly enlightened.
Yeah.
It's about showing up and dealing with the ups and downs.
You got it. And he uses this analogy of a dusty room. Imagine all this dust. We don't always see it, but then a light shines in. And you see it everywhere, and it lights up all the corners.
Right, like you suddenly realize,
Mm.
oh, this thing's been driving my behavior.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know.
Exactly. And our weaknesses are like those dust particles, and spiritual practice is about being aware of them.
I like that it's about self-compassion. Not beating yourself up,
Right.
but being curious about your flaws.
Yeah. And remembering we have support on this journey.
Oh yeah, we're not alone in this.
It's like there's this force of grace guiding us.
I like that. That even when we feel lost, we're not alone.
There's actually this part where someone asks, is progress mostly our effort or the master's will? And he says, when the disciple makes an effort, the master will always give grace.
We have to show up. But we also have this support system.
It's both.
Yeah.
And he compares it to, you guessed it, another seed.
Uh-huh. Okay. I'm seeing a theme here. Tell me more.
He says when the Lord wants you to put in effort, you'll just do it. No excuses, no resistance.
Hmm. But what about those times when, even when we know better, we repeat the same mistakes?
Those are good questions. And that gets to the heart of karma and free will.
Right.
How about we take a quick break, and then
Okay.
we'll come back and talk about that.
Okay, so we're back.
Oh.
And we're talking about those really deep patterns, the ones that can kind of throw you off track. It sounds like even when you've made progress, you can still struggle with those.
Oh, absolutely. He doesn't sugarcoat it. These karmic patterns can be really tough to shake.
Yeah. It's like, you should do something different, but you feel stuck, like you're just playing out the same script again.
That's a great way to put it. And it shows that we still have a choice, even when it doesn't feel like it.
So it's less about erasing karma and more about changing how we react to it.
Exactly. And that's where grace comes in.
Right.
We were
Yeah.
talking about that.
When we make a sincere effort, we're not alone.
There's that support system.
Yeah, grace is there to guide us.
Sometimes I feel overwhelmed, though. Like it's too much to handle.
Well, the master actually addresses that. Someone asked him about accounting for all our past actions, and he basically said, even 20 lifetimes wouldn't be enough.
Wow. So it's not all on us then.
Right. It's more about surrendering.
Surrendering to what? To something bigger than ourselves.
I like that.
Trusting that there's a plan.
Trusting the process. For someone who's new to this, what's one thing they can start doing?
Meditation is key.
He talks about that a lot.
Even just a few minutes to quiet your mind and observe your thoughts.
It's simple but powerful. Maybe that's a good takeaway. It's not about being perfect. It's about those small steps and trusting that they're leading somewhere.
Beautifully said. And who knows what we'll discover along the way.
It's all about exploring and asking questions. That's what this deep dive is all about. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time.